Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Alex is in Cricklewood. Alex, where were we?
Hiya. I am what you would call a Corbynista, I suppose.
Welcome. Welcome,
I'd just like to say I disagree. Well, I'd just like to say I disagree with two of your premises.
Go on.
The first premise being austerity is the only alternative. And the second premise, progressive government or the status quo are the only type of government that
I haven't said either of those things.
You have said those things, James, just before the break.
No,
yes, you did. Yes, you did, James. You did. You literally just said prior to the break.
This is what it's like. This is what it's like, arguing with a self-described Corbynista. You know better than I do what I said.
Okay, well, do you want to reiterate as to what it is that you said then?
Yes, what I said was you don't get power unless you win elections. And that the anti-austerity message at the moment is simply a slogan rather than a codified and formal policy statement going into detail about precisely what the alternatives will be. Now try again.
And what I'm saying, I fully can comprehend what it is you've said. And what I'm simply saying is an anti-austerity legislation isn't simply rhetoric, and it does have substance.
Go on then.
And
talk me through it.
Easy. Okay. Well, I'll give you. I mean, I'm not going to write a completely new manifesto, but I can.
But that's what I'm asking for.
No. Okay, that's fine. No, that's fine. I'll give you some examples. All right, if you let me speak. So, for example, Nicholas Shazam, I believe that's his name, wrote a book called Treasure Island in regards to tax avoidance. There's billions and billions, trillions of pounds. I believe it was 11 trillion pounds on offshore tax avoidance that we could, through a left-wing government.
How would we get it?
Clamping down on international companies.
So we don't make international law. We only make laws for our company. If they're offshore, they're not subject to our laws.
And that's fine. Then if
so how are you going to introduce legislation that affects countries that is not Britain?
Well, if you can do it on a national base, for example.
No, but they're offshore, Alex. They're not in this nation.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. There should be a mandatory law, perhaps put in by the US.
All laws are mandatory.
If a company has, or another form of establishment has, a profit-making entity within your own country, they should be paying the full tax off the profits they're making.
Now,
for example,
where is that in the Labour Party manifesto? Where is that undergraduate nonsense written down so I can see it more clearly? Or do I have to read that book by Mr. Shazam, Treasure Island, and find out what Long John Silver thinks?
That's hilarious, but we're actually...
Mate, this isn't remotely funny, Alex, because you actually think you're making points, and you are precisely the reason why the Corbyn project is so frightening. I mean, you've now come on national radio, made a complete fool of yourself, and you're going away convinced that you're the victim.
I'm actually giving... No, I haven't.
Mate, you've mentioned a book that you haven't even read.
And as soon... I have read the book.
You didn't know the name of the author a minute ago. You said it's billions and billions, it's trillions, it's trillions, it's 11 trillion, it's gazillions, it's bazillions, it's bazoomians.
I reiterated myself.
You reiterated yourself. That's not even a word. Not even a word, not even a policy. Up the Corbyn revolution. Jog on, mate. 29 minutes after 11 is the time. You are listening to a Tibetan yak feeder trying to explain politics to somebody who stares at the current political landscape and sees nothing but confusion, chaos, and I can't even say well-meaning fools when I talk to people like that, because there's nothing well-meaning at all about the notion that because there's some book that I got out of the library last week and haven't actually read yet that suggests that we can all build a magic money tree and stop all these nasty multinationals from doing all the nasty things that they're doing, while actually they just won't bother doing business here unless you find a way of somehow getting more money out of them without chasing them out of the country. You begin to understand the frustration that proper politicians in the Labour Party seeking proper power to enact proper policies feel when they listen to children like that. And there you have it, really. That is the poor fella, the last caller. Unfortunately, when you're talking to people who aren't part of the choir, who aren't part of the placard-waving mob, You have to back up your belief that the world will be a better place if everybody just follows Jeremy by explaining how. And if explaining how involves using words like billions or trillions and calling for national law to somehow apply in other territories and other countries, you're going to realise why every single member of the Parliamentary Labour Party, almost every single member, is utterly chilled to the bone by the prospect of being led into a general election by Jeremy Corbyn.